Hello and welcome to our exclusive interview with Professor Ramachandran, Chairman of Redington Limited. Today, we are honored to have Professor Ramachandran share his insights into the Redington's mission and vision, our core purpose of the company, and how it's addressing challenges of the market, knowledge, and technology frictions. He will also discuss Redington's commitment to democratizing technology and bridging societal divides. Thank you for joining us, Professor Ramachandran, at Redington Studios.
Thank you, Puneet.
So first of all, what do you think of our company, the future of Redington?
Oh, I'm excited. If you ask me, I would describe it as we are future ready today.
Wonderful. And can you elaborate about this excitement of Redington?
For me to describe to you the excitement I have for the future, I need to necessarily take you back to the past. Look at our Redington's journey. It started 30 years ago. And if you recall, the entire IT distribution industry, in some senses, actually began its journey at the same time. We gone through multiple inflection points, starting originally, if you remember, we were what we would call a very hardware-centric world. Then it became a software-centric world. Then it became an internet or information-centric world. Then now it's becoming a digital world with lots of changes being driven by cloud and AI. It has negotiated all these years and multiple inflection points. The future is going to be as exciting, if not better than the past.
So you mentioned 30 years of these kind of bridging divides and 30 years of this inflection which you mentioned. What's really been the core recipe of success over the years with all these kind of challenges, and how did you overcome these challenges?
Technology has a very interesting characteristic to it. In the initial stages, the early adopters have an advantage. But technology at scale actually democratizes. You can go back and describe Redington as a distributor of products. Yes, we do distribute the products, but we do a lot more, because what we do is what we describe as bridging the divide between technology innovation and technology adoption. And the journey from adoption to innovation is hardly seamless. And it's laced with multiple frictions, right? And our objective, as we described, is to actually enable technology at scale, because technology at scale transforms lives. It levels the playing field. And over the years, we have created multiple buckets to describe the frictions we have negotiated. The first set of frictions is what we call market-related frictions. It's very visible in the markets that we are presenting in, because we are in what people broadly describe as emerging markets, though I today describe them as the most promising markets of the future. What is the characteristics of these emerging markets? You typically have institutional development is late. It's not fully developed institutional environment. Second, you'll see a number of policy changes which go around. As a consequence, these create distortions in the marketplace. So negotiating market frictions is one critical role that we play.
You mentioned 2 or 3 very interesting points. One, you mentioned about democratizing technology. Second, you mentioned about democratizing technology at scale. Why is that important, democratize at scale?
Can you imagine digital payments that we live through today without democratization of technology? So what happens, technology in its early stages actually creates a divide. It privileges those who have access to it, and all those people who don't have access to it tend to get left behind. Technology at scale does a very interesting thing in terms of as it scales, the economies of scale kick in, the price drops, the learning curve accelerates, and it becomes very accessible to all. The more accessible it is, the more level the playing field is. So today, imagine how the world would have negotiated, India in particular would have negotiated if we didn't have phones. Look at the impact that the entire Aadhaar UPI system has made. The entire access to vaccination, which is made possible by virtue of being able to keep track of it. If we didn't have those technologies, it would have been a chaos.
Absolutely.
At scale, it levels the playing field, yes, and as a consequence, transforms lives. We have something called technology frictions. What do we mean by technology frictions? The pace of technology change, right? And the number of technologies which come.
The complexity around, portfolio. And, yeah.
So in a way, the customer is spoiled for choice. What we do is we enable you to make informed choice. We create solutions for you so that you're able to get the best value for the investment that you're making. And the third, which is what is emerging, is what we call knowledge
friction.
And how do I distinguish knowledge friction from technology friction or market friction? In the fashion industry, you go back and ask, in the creative industries, you go back and ask a question, what do you think enables a film or a design to become a hit? The harsh truth, Puneet, is nobody knows. Creative industries is what we call as nobody knows industries. It's the characteristic that nobody knows what is the formula for success. There's tremendous ambiguity over here because many of them tend to be new. The AI world seems to be having a lot of significant characteristics of the same variety. Everybody knows it has got tremendous promise. Everybody knows that they should not be left behind, but nobody knows go where. It is that challenge of what is the objective and what are the options they're going to have in this AI world. That's the friction that comes from knowledge. And how do you then enable learning for people? Even as we learn, just not we are the experts in that, we also learn along the process. The world at large is learning on this process, right? Because we engage with some of the leading edge technology innovators, right, and service providers, we're able to translate some of their innovations to our customers and to our channel partners. Please note, these don't operate as mutually exclusive. It's not market friction is different from technology friction is not from knowledge friction. Take AI. It has got market frictions because we don't know how much of violation of privacy and issues which come up with AI. So there is going to be market frictions which are there. The multiple competing technologies offering same AI kind of solutions. And at the same time, our awareness and the knowledge about what does AI really constitute is a challenge. So you can think of these frictions as what we call a nested model, one within the other. And what is significant about Redington is this ability to solve these multiple frictions. So what distinguishes us from others is this extraordinary human capital that we have. We attract the best-in-class managerial and technical talent. Without having the kind of people that we have and the commitment we have towards the philosophical approach that we must transform lives by democratizing technology, right? That defines us. We look at problems or challenges as opportunities. And if you go back and talk to our people, there's a driving, unstated philosophy perhaps, is what we call carpe diem, seize the moment. And all through the multiple inflection points that I've described to you so far, we have seized those moments. And believe you me, we will seize the moment now. Is Redington future ready? I'll say yes. That's what defines Redington.
So, Professor, you talked about technology friction, knowledge friction, and market friction. Is there a blind spot? Is there an awareness level amongst all these frictions that people are aware that there's a technology friction, but may not be aware that there's a market friction or knowledge friction?
Yeah, it is challenging because people tend to fold one into the other. But we prefer to take a more nuanced view of this. Market in the US and market in India and market in Kenya are not the three same markets. And because we negotiate in these multiple markets, all of them with different stages of institutional and economic development, we're able to see the impact specifically of market frictions, right? And our birth, if I may, was actually based on how do we solve this market friction.
And it's kind of interesting, right? I mean, these are the toughest terrains. Yes. At the same time, these are probably the highest growing geographies, right? Fastest growing geographies. So what's your perspective on this? This is a USP of Redington.
We used to describe ourselves as an emerging markets distribution major. Initially, we used to say that we operate in most difficult markets. Then embraced the classification of emerging markets and saying we are an emerging markets distributor. But I think we need to redefine what is Redington. I think we are the most promising markets distributor.
Yes.
Go back and look at each of the markets, the major markets we are in. They are poised for tremendous growth. India, of course, is well known. But what people don't know, perhaps, is how much, for example, the governments of Middle East, United Arab Emirates, and Saudi Arabia are embracing these new technologies.
Yeah, with the recent policies coming around AI and yeah.
So if you go back and say, Redington today is, I would say, the promising markets major. That's how I describe Redington.
Wonderful. So, ladies and gentlemen, this was Professor Ramachandran, Chairman of Redington Limited. Thank you, Professor, for coming to the Redington studio. And stay tuned for more confabs. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Puneet. Appreciate it. Thank you.